Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for the return of a long-awaited series for top 10 countdowns. But now that intro out of the way, what exactly are we going to be counting down this here top 10 video? Well, it's all in the title. For the title does not lie, today we are counting down the top 10 greatest Skylanders merchandise and items. Now you can see the long line of figurines beside me right here, which could be classed as merchandise due to the physicality of these items, but they are key integral parts of the games that they are from. The games simply do not function without these fellas over here, and merchandising tends to exist outside of the games, which is why, you know, merchandising this list comes along the lines of books, you know, toys, clothing, all of that jazz. So naturally, when I say top 10 Skylanders merchandise items, I don't mean these glorious figurines with them being integral parts of the games from which they're from, and instead I mean the wide expanses of Skylanders items out there, ones which show even more dedication than owning the figures, ones which, you know, you really have to go out of your way to hunt down because they were much more scarce and harder to find, at least specific makes were. So naturally, speaking of specific makes, our 10th item on the list is going to be the Skylanders phone cases. Now you take your phones with you everywhere, so the phone case is ideal because that way you can protect your phone from any sort of nasty drops. You know, can't have butterfingers out by the roads in the public now, can you? And on top of that, it's a great display because whenever you whip it out to start texting, people can see your love for Skylanders via the natural design of your phone case. The phone case has a lot to present about one's character, and so showing our dedication of public to Skylanders through the utilisation of the phone case is really cool, and I'm glad we have the opportunity to do so thanks to the items existing. But there is a small problem with the phone cases in the fact that not all of them symbolise Skylanders. They don't have any sort of logo, so naturally the effect is going to be lost on most people. It's only really going to impact people who have a strong connection to Skylanders. Anyone else is just going to see this one down here as a cute little cartoon dog. You know, they aren't going to see that it's actually Hot Dog's face protecting their phones, mind you. So the fact that this effect is lost, and anyone who isn't a Skylanders fan, is ultimately what hurts phone cases in the long run. But overall, they are an awesome merchandising item, especially for displaying your affection of the series in public, mind you. Now number 9 is going to be clothing, which does exactly what the phone cases do, in the fact that it presents you as a huge Skylanders fan in public and allows us to share our passion publicly as well. But unfortunately, they do stick out like a sore thumb. They are very targeted towards kids, shall we go as far to say, with bright colours, logos. They can become quite distracting in public. And naturally, the other problem I have with it really is that I would be wearing Skylanders clothing of my own right now if it weren't for the fact that I can't find anything in my size. It's also kid orientated that I can't find Skylanders clothing for how tall I am, and the same goes for Halloween costumes. Whilst they are totally dope and a lot of details put into those costumes to truly replicate Skylanders, but in real life, ultimately wants to definitely showcase your love for Skylanders, and it's great for public affection, more so than phone cases, because you can fit a lot more on a t-shirt, a logo, more characters, and just make things a lot more evidently clear your love for the series. But ultimately, they do also stick out like a sore thumb. They can be a little too colourful, and because of that they might attract the wrong crowd. You all know what I mean when I say that some people have been picked on liking Skylanders, which is absolute rubbish. Allow people to like whatever they want to. There shouldn't be any harm in that, but unfortunately that's just how jerks go in the world, mind you. But regardless of all that, it's just such a huge shame that awesome clothing items like these are targeted even to a single crowd, meaning that I myself can't find anything in my size. And number 8 is going to be books. Now what's so great about books is that they take place in the Skylanders world, so they serve as a finer expansion of the world of Skylanders. We get to see stories outside those of the games, and it really makes this world feel more lived in, because there's stuff that we don't necessarily get to experience as a Portal Master, which the Skylanders are just left to deal with on their own accord. So the idea of Skylanders just spamming a perception beyond our own is really, really cool, and these novels tend to be well written as well. They're perfect for the target demographic because they're going to offer up plenty of investment for kids to enjoy, and the fact that they're promoting reading through Skylanders franchise, a key skill in life, is great to see. So above all, these books have really great art in them too, so there's plenty of pictures to enjoy along the way. So the fact that they just offer up so many intriguing stories that expand the world of Skylanders as well as promote healthy skills in life is what makes the books of the Skylanders merchandise and line so spectacular. But number 7, you know, you could pick any sort of display item here, because there's several display items which allow you to put figurines onto them and just create this awesome immersive display that reminds you of the world of Skylanders, because these objects come from Skylanders, and the most direct of all of these is Flynn's ship. Sure, you have things like the tower and the waterfall, but ultimately the application of the Dread Yacht in real life is the most accurate, the most appropriate, and it's just awesome that you can just display it with all the Skylanders that can fit on top of it. It's a really well made too. The plastic is strong and sturdy. I wouldn't know, I don't own the thing, which is why you see a picture of it instead, but I'm sure it's nice and strong with nice sharp colours that look incredible. So overall it's a fine display piece and worthy of the number 7 spot on the list. Now for number 6, I have an item which I finally own, that being a Skylanders backpack. Now I specifically have the legendary one from Skylanders Spice Adventure, as you can see from the tag right here, which is phenomenally detailed, which is why of all the backpacks made from Skylanders, this is my personal favourite, not because of the fact that it just looks cool. I mean, it's even got this illumination type plastic. I'm not sure it's the appropriate term, but it's well textured, as you just heard from me scraping my nails over it. And on top of that, the picture changes depending on the angle, so that is completely 100% and totally dope. But regardless, what makes these items so great is that not only are they a public display of affection, as we've had with the strengths of phone cases and clothes, but they're also just as, if not even more practical. These can slip on your shoulders really easy for the sake of comfort. And on top of that, look at how big this is. You can store so much in this. Taking this to a primary school, you can easily fit your pack lunch in there, all of your books, your pencil case, and on top of that, they're not only designed for everyday use, but for Skylanders use as well. This one in particular, if we actually open it up, has inside it this little elemental part where you can take a Skylander, such as my boy Igniter over here, and simply place him in just like that. And that took far too long to demonstrate, but you get the point right here. It's perfect for carrying around your Skylanders, and it's perfect for carrying around any sort of other practical items you have as well. So now let's just leave Legendary Igniter safe in here and move on to the next item on the list. Without further ado, now for number 5, I have Topps trading cards, more specifically the Giants lineup, because that's the only one I ever actually managed to complete. And here's the thing, why do we collect Skylanders? Well, for that nice little satisfaction in collecting. I've been a collector my whole life. I collect all sorts of things, so the figurines offering up a collection of sorts for me to grab every single figurine I could really, hone into that interest, that hobby of mine. And if I can do it with Skylanders, then it's just as practical to do it with trading cards as well, because they were cheaper. So naturally, the story is that whenever me and my parents went into town, they'd always like to treat me, but Skylanders were a little too expensive for that. So what they do instead is they get me packs of these trading cards, and they were always so excited to open up and see who we got, because they were literally 50 pence a piece for a pack of 5 cards. So just opening them up blindly and having that raw excitement, seeing if you're going to find cards to add to your collection, or picking up some doubles that you could trade in the playground with other kids. It was just such a fascinating and fulfilling hobby of mine, and I'm glad I was able to conduct it with Topps trading cards of such high quality. Like seriously, for foil cards, the artwork, it all looked phenomenal. Topps did a great job just displaying a lot of passion and care into this collection to give Skylanders fans ultimately what we would have wanted out of the card collection. These cards look exactly as I would have wanted them to as a Skylanders fan. So ultimately, the Topps trading cards are an excellent merchandising item, which I'm glad I managed to complete the Giants lineup for. The number 4 is going to be custom controllers, which I have a personal connection to because I work for a company known as Scuff Gaming, which make a lineup of elite professional gaming controllers, basically meaning that they are engineered specifically to help you with your gaming sessions. But enough of promoting my own company here. Naturally, I test a few hundred of these controllers every single day, at least when I'm at home, actually able to work. At the moment I'm in my university accommodation, as you can tell from the tea, so that's not quite what's happening. But still, I have conducted that job for several years now, and so naturally that gives me a strong connection to custom controllers in general. Getting to take a traditional controller shape and seeing it adjusted by a custom shell is incredibly cool to see. Not to mention your friends come around, they look at that controller and they notice how unique it is to you and your personal preferences, and they think that's totally dope that you're able to express your love. So you're playing a game with a controller that celebrates that game. It's such a great display of affection. I have a personal connection to custom controllers via my own line of work, so naturally seeing Skylanders controllers and the fact that they have sharp contrasting colours and incredible artwork on them, as you've come to expect from any Skylanders merchandising items, like the theme of everything on this list so far, just how phenomenally detailed it is and how colourful the items are, and these custom controllers are no exception. They look awesome, they function incredibly well, and so above all, if I was to own any of these items I've talked about, it would have to be the custom controllers, which unfortunately, when it comes to this list, I've owned very little of these merchandising items. In fact, I own very little Skylanders merchandise in general, so it just doesn't feel right for me to count down the top 3, which is why I've given that job instead to someone notorious within the Skylanders community for his huge collection of Skylanders merchandise. We're talking, of course, about none other than JAP28 himself, so I'm going to leave him to count down even, kick off countdown, that's where I was getting a little bit tongue-tied. Regardless, I'm going to leave him to count down the top 3 greatest Skylanders merchandise items without further ado.
Well, hey there everyone, JAP28 here, yeah! Ignite the Fire has kindly asked me to tell you some of my favorite Skylander merchandise. So I'm going to give you my top 3, yeah, let's do it! Now, I think we've got to start off with Power 8. We got to give them a big clap because they're the ones that grabbed Skylanders by the horn and really took off with the merchandise. Everything from cell phone controllers, they really, that first tower case, that was the very first Skylander merchandise. But for me, I like the simpler items, so here are my top 3. Well, the first item I really do love. It's been hanging in my hallway for a very long time. I love this item. It is a Skylanders skateboard. So colorful and boom damn. That is amazing. One of my favorite Skylander items. I remember when I saw that at Toys R Us, I had to have that. Now, I know a lot of people hang a skateboard this way so that they can use it as a shelf, but there was nothing on that side of the skateboard, and I wanted to display the bottom graphic. I really do like that item. Let me know what you all think. I think it's pretty sweet. Alright, in the second position, now there's so many other items like comic books, but I went with something that many of you might have, and that is just Skylanders stickers. Yeah, these wall stickers are awesome. I still have my Tree Rex up. I think my favorite though has got to be Stealth Elf. Look at that. She looks awesome. I love her up on my wall. I know Fathead made some, but those were very expensive. But I like the Skylanders stickers. I believe it might be another Power A. I'm not too sure where these ones came from. But let me know, do you have any of these wall stickers? If so, what do you think? I really do enjoy them. And they are in my number 2 spot. Alright, we're down to my number 1 pick. And no, I'm not going with Burger King or McDonald's toys or Flynn's ship. No, there's been a lot of cool Skylander merchandise. This one still hangs on my wall in my living room, and I think it's just amazing. Look at this. That is Igniter's sword, and it makes sounds. Listen. Yeah, one of the coolest items I say I have in my collection. I love it. I love it. It's very simple. It's like a foam, so you can't really hurt someone. It's not hot. Ow! And this is probably one of my favorite simple Skylander merchandise items. Thanks, Ignite, for having me on this little favorite merchandise of all time Skylander edition. All right. Bye, everyone. Woo! Look at that.
Well, thanks for that, Jap. Very wise choice for number 1 right now. You made me proud with that one, because that just goes to show how great a taste you have in Skylanders merchandise. But regardless, with this video coming to an end, a huge thank you to JAP28, especially the editing part of the clip. He did all the editing himself. There's a lot of effort and passion put into that, and he also did my intro. For those of you who don't know, he edited that together, so that's why it looks as phenomenal as it does. So I've linked JAP28 in the description below. If you haven't done so already, go check them out. You'll be doing yourself a huge favor, and you can thank me later. Regardless, subscribe to JAP28, and I will see you in the next video. Until that moment arises, peace.